7 o'clock. Let's get started. We'll call this meeting to order. This is the February 18th meeting of the Concord City Planning Board. Could we call the roll?
Chair Woodfin.
Here.
Mr. Hicks.
I'm here.
Mr. Fox.
I'm here.
Mr. Tarbo.
Here.
Ms. Savage.
Here.
Ms. Kondo Demitraki.
Here.
Ms. Rosenberger is absent tonight. Councilor Tubb.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Great. For the meeting, first item on the agenda is the approval of the January minutes. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the January 21st meeting minutes as submitted?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Agenda overview. We've got a couple items on the agenda that have been moved to the March 18th, 2026 meeting at the request of the applicant. Item 8A and item 8B have both been moved to the March meeting of the board. Would someone like to make a motion to, do we have to do that?
We do.
Yeah, to move those items to the March 18th meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. We'll hop right into design review applications by consent. Anybody in the audience has any questions or concerns about items 5A through 5C? We take these items by consent. They're put in a packet, reviewed with architectural design review notes. And would any member of the board like to pull any of these items from the consent agenda? Any member of the audience have any concerns or questions about the applications for 5A, 5B, or 5C? If not, we'll take those en masse, and I'll take a motion to approve 5A, 5B, 5C by consent with architectural design review recommendations.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moves us on quickly to item 6 in our agenda, determination of completeness by consent. Should we read that into the record, or can we just...
I can read it into record. This
Yeah.
is TF Moran Incorporated on behalf of 94 Manchester Street LLC, requesting approval for a major site plan application for a new 4-story, 14,768 square foot footprint building and other associated site improvements at tax map 781Z, lots 12, 12-1, 12-2, and 12-3, addressed as 94 to 98 Manchester Street in the Highway Commercial and Office Park Performance Districts.
Okay, so this is just a determination of completeness component. So staff has determined the application complete and set the public hearing for the March 18th or 19th. It says 19th here, it said 18th on the other. So it's the March 18th meeting. Would someone
Also not a...
not a development of regional impact. Would someone like to make a motion to find the application complete, not a development of regional impact, and set the public hearing for the March 18th meeting?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. Moves us on rapidly to item 7 in our agenda, extension request by consent. If we want to read that one into the record as well.
This is Nobis Group on behalf of SARP Realty LLC requesting a 1-year extension to meet precedent conditions of approval for the project titled The Red Blazer, conditionally approved by the Planning Board on the March 19th, 2025 meeting located at 72 Manchester Street.
Okay, so we've got a request to extend this again by consent. Any questions from the board? Concerns with extension? If not, I'll take a motion to grant the extension to the approved plan from the March 19th, 2025 meeting.
That's to grant the extension to March 19th of 2027. It's
Right.
1 year to meet their conditions of approval.
Yeah.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. That's the end of our consent agenda item. And we will move right on to item 5A and 5B. Again, have been delayed, or excuse me, have been pulled and at the request of the applicant. So we'll move on to item 8C. If we could read 8C into the record.
This is North Point Engineering LLC on behalf of Siborowski Associates LLC and Phoenix Hall LLC requesting approval for a minor subdivision application for a lot line adjustment and the discontinuance of Phoenix Ave at tax map 6443Z, lot 27, addressed as 56 North Main Street, and tax map 6443Z, lot 28, addressed as 2 Phoenix Ave in the Central Business Performance District.
Okay, we could get a staff update on this.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know when we did this 2 months ago, we read all 3 and kind of heard all of them at once. does this board wish to do that again this time, or do you want to keep them separate?
At the board's leisure, I mean, we've gone through and heard what these were before. We talked about them at the prior meeting. We can certainly ask the applicant questions as they come up during the review, but if we're good with that, we okay with that? Nods all around? Okay, fine. We're good with that?
I will read in the item 8D, which is North Point Engineering on behalf of Siborowski Associates LLC, requests approval for a major site plan, conditional use permit to allow a portion of the proposed mixed-use building to be constructed to a maximum height of 89 feet 6 inches from area average grade, a conditional use permit to allow the partial obstruction of views from the State House Dome, and certain waivers from the site plan regulations for construction of a new 8-story mixed-use building at tax map 6443Z, lot 27, addressed as 56 North Main Street in the Central Business Performance District. The third project is North Point Engineering LLC on behalf of Phoenix Hall, requests approval for a major site plan application and certain waivers from the site plan regulations for the construction of a 6-story addition and other improvements at tax map 6443Z, lot 28, addressed as 2 Phoenix Ave in the Central Business Performance District. Stepping back to the staff update. Bear with me, there's a fair amount to go through here on this one, given the complexity of the project, where we stand in the process. These applications tonight are for the Phoenix Hall redevelopment project. This is to facilitate the redevelopment of the former CVS building and the Phoenix Hall, Phoenix block in its entirety. The major site plan and CUPs are available through the recently approved zoning ordinance amendments that were adopted by the City Council last year. The 2 buildings on lot 27 will be removed to make way for a new 8-story mixed-use building and a connection to the Phoenix Hall building on lot 28. The new mixed-use building is proposed to contain some limited retail space on the lower level, office space on the 2nd level, and the 3rd through 6th floors would be 36 residential apartments, with the top floor proposed to be a restaurant venue with an outdoor seating deck. The redevelopment of this area, Phoenix Hall, has been a significant economic development aspiration of both the applicant and was also identified as a key redevelopment opportunity by the city as well, to the extent that the plan was specifically discussed in the city's 1997 downtown master plan. In addition to that, this is a request for minor subdivision lot line adjustment and discontinuance of Phoenix Avenue to facilitate the proposed development. They're hoping to be able to do the discontinuance to allow for the construction to take place as they've had it proposed. Looking at the overall project, including this application and the associated site plans, it's important to note that as we understand it, the applicant is intending to pursue a public-private partnership with the City Council to support the overall project. To date, no partnership exists, and any potential partnership will require City Council approval. The exact parameters of any potential partnership have not been determined at this point, and they have not been defined. Given this and the fact that the applicant has chosen to go through the planning board process prior to having secured that partnership, does put it in a unique position in terms of how to best deal with the approval process for this project. With respect to the utilities associated with the project, the applicant has proposed locating the public water and sewer utilities within the soon-to-be discontinued Phoenix Ave area. Specifically, the utilities would be located beneath a new building, which would be constructed within the existing Phoenix Avenue right-of-way. Engineering currently does not support this approach due to the inherent complications that will exist for future maintenance and replacement of those utility lines being beneath the building. Alternatively, the applicant has provided a conceptual layout plan in the time since the meeting we had 2 months ago, showing an alternative routing for public utilities on North Main, Depot, and Low Avenue. No detailed design has been provided. The engineering department division does prefer this alternative concept, subject to final design by the applicant. We are going to recommend that the board conditionally approve the various applications here tonight with the alternative utility design using Main Street, Depot, and Low Ave, subject to a final design being approved by the city engineer. If upon completion of that design, by way of the partnership not working or other parameters not working, the applicant would be able to then go back to the design where it goes into this Phoenix Ave right-of-way, as otherwise might be agreed to by the city and the applicant. I think that kind of covers where we've been, what we've accomplished over the last couple of months. The applicant's here to answer any questions, but I think we're at a point now where we're ready to move forward with the project and get this process to this milepost before we get into the other discussions with the City Council.
Okay, how does staff handle the 8B, 8C, and 8D? Well, excuse me, C, D, and E. Do we want to handle them together? Do we want to handle them separately there?
I think we'll do separate motions for each when we get there,
Okay.
but I think we can have the applicant address all three here at the
Okay,
same time.
I'd prefer it that way. That would be great. So again, with that in mind, if you can just kind of take them all and kind of boil them down, then we'll take the items on the agenda and handle them for approval or denial at that point.
Tim did the hard work. I've got half a page.
Perfect.
My name's Ari Pollack. I'm an attorney with the Gallagher firm here in town. To my right is Mark Soborowski, here tonight on behalf of two of his entities, Soborowski Associates LLC and Phoenix Hall LLC. To my left is my computer maven, Jason Lacombe of SMP Architecture, and behind us is the germ-riddled Jeff Lewis of North Point Engineering, who we made sit in the back.
Not far enough back.
We're all going to leave through the side door. You will recall we were before you in December when we started the public conversation about Mark's long-standing plan to redevelop the Phoenix block along North Main Street. Tim made reference to the private-public partnership that Mark has envisioned for this project that will encompass a number of construction and development issues, not the least of which are the utility items that Tim was also summarizing. I think, in my opinion, you've sort of got two tracks for these things. You can either run off to the council at the beginning and figure out what their level of comfort and contribution may be to an important project, or you can go through the planning process, figure out what is approved, what it looks like, what you're actually asking for, and do them in reverse order. It's been my impression that figuring out what you're building comes first, and then how you are going to divvy up responsibility comes second. But it's a chicken and egg, and here we are. And I also want to commend staff for the way in which they structured their memos on this to explain not only the process to get to tonight, but also how they handled some of the jump ball issues, which we're comfortable with as we sit here now. This is a big project. There's more work to be done, but the way things are put forward this evening are quite sensible. The applicant is proposing lot line adjustments that would have the effect of discontinuing Phoenix Avenue, which is currently a public street but would no longer be a public street. It would be replaced with a public easement so that pedestrians could continue to travel from North Main Street to Low Avenue and vice versa. The utility and connectivity of that area would be intact, but it would allow Mark's plan to go forward, which is to build the connector building in that right-of-way space that connects and essentially joins his project. The connector building would link together both the existing Phoenix Hall, which of course is renovated and, quote-unquote saved by the project, with a new mixed-use building that would be located where the CVS Shell and the E&P Hotel sit today. From our last visit, we received staff memos based upon the initial filings. Those served as a great sort of to-do or homework list for us as we were coming back for February. And what that meant, of course, was that we made a supplemental submission in mid-January, which was the subject of the memos received from staff tonight. Items addressed in those memos included not only the staff's comments, but also comments that we received from board members on the evening of December 18th. The submissions included requested plan notes, a better explanation of certain waiver requests, utility connections and routing, which you just heard about, and then some work on light fixtures and building lighting. And Jason has put up the slide that shows the outdoor evening elevation view of the new building, the connector building, and the Phoenix Hall. Some modifications were made based upon some of the comments, but generally speaking, the comments at the last meeting were favorable, so we really just did the minimum to address those items. More generally, it has to be said, with or without a crowded room, that this project comes at a time when Concord is struggling to build a tax base to protect residents from new assessments that are in the pipeline, and frankly, just offer more to residents on all fronts and levels. And we're proud to put this in front of the board. We'll be in front of the city council. This is a crown jewel, center Main Street, much talked about project, and for Mark, it's a legacy and a lifetime's worth of effort coming to fruition. So I think it's exciting on all levels, and we're here to answer your questions, but also to mark the milestone. Thank you.
So again, looking at the, excuse me, looking at the entirety, looking at all three applications at once, a lot of requests for waivers, a lot of approvals for waivers, some denials for waivers.
Yeah.
You guys are fine with approvals and denials as they're sitting currently in the staff report?
Yeah, we're fine with how it shakes out in the recommendations in the memo, and I'll explain the reason for that is because a lot of them have to do with this utility routing issue. And the way the staff's conditions have been proposed for your consideration is the staff's version of what I'll call around the corner versus the direct shot for utility routing. The waivers that were requested are not necessary if we go the around the corner route.
Yeah.
If we don't go the around the corner route because it's deemed infeasible for any number of reasons, then the condition also gives staff some latitude in working with us for that direct shot.
Okay. Great. That's great. That's good to hear.
Chair Woodfin, one thing, Ari, I'm sure you all know this, but in the Phoenix Ave infill project, the Main Street level will remain open as a pedestrian egress down to Low Ave. And that was an important element to keep that link down to Low Ave and on to Store Street. So I think the board understands that, but I just wanted to make sure.
Be able to walk down Phoenix Avenue without ice skates or crampons.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
And Attorney Rosenberg will be very happy about
How
that.
do you get from grade? And again, just a minor little nit, but you're going downstairs, or are we going to be accessible down the grade that's there?
You are going up and down stairs,
Yeah.
except that there is an accessible avenue through an elevator.
Okay.
It'll remain at Main Street level through most of it. It'll be flat till you get towards the back of current Phoenix Ave, and then there'll be a set of stairs, which will take you roughly 10 feet down
So
to
you'll
Low
get rid
Ave.
of the sloping grade and
Sloping grade will
flatten
be-
it out at the top and then stairs at the back.
Yep, no sloping grade.
Up on the screen is a rendering of what that would be.
There it is.
Nice.
Nice.
Go up the stairs or you get in the elevator.
The elevator actually lives right here. Our renderer took some liberties to show off the stair.
We hope you like the stairs because the elevator disappeared, but only momentarily.
It looked like that. Why didn't you make it look like that?
It's in the other plan.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for putting that in the record.
So much for the computer maven stare. Yeah, you
It does look nice.
failed us.
I have to concur.
Okay, questions from the board? Again, again, kudos to you guys from the packaging perspective. Staff did a great job in kind of presenting it back to us as a fully baked plan. And you guys have seen when we don't get fully baked plans, we get off the rails and get into the weeds. And this is one that, again, that you came in the right way and presented it. You went through all the bells and whistles for design review and all the other pieces. The feedback was heard. The package that comes to us is easy for staff to then act on. Not that it's an easy project, but easy in the sense that they can translate what you're doing, put it into something that we can understand, and kind of present it back the right way. So I think it worked.
We were a willing participant, and I think we landed in a good place.
Yeah, I think it worked. I think it worked very well. Again, for an incredibly complex project, I think it worked pretty well. So I'm obligated to ask if there's any public opinion that would like to be heard, but I don't see a soul here that may not be interested in the project themselves. So
Jeff's not allowed to come forward.
just not allowed to come forward. Yeah. I already feel my throat tightening up. So, okay. So public testimony. Yes, go ahead,
Well,
Councilor Todd.
I'll just ask a question. It's, I don't know, maybe this is a dumb question. Some people say I'm good at that, so let me just try it anyway. I don't know.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, thank you. If there's some material change that needs to happen as a result of the future negotiations and so forth.
Good question.
What would be the requirement then for the applicant? Would they need to come back with any material changes that are not presented here and revisit those issues? The or- one thing we've kind of accounted for in this is the utility routing. The utility routing per this approval, if you go with the way the staff is recommending, is the around the bend design to the satisfaction of the engineering division. If not, then we default back to the original design that was proposed. If there's anything significant that happens separate and outside of that, then we may be in a situation where we'd have to come back to do a minor amendment to the plan.
But so to your point, Council Todd, if if council gets it, there's a public-private aspect of it, the board takes a left turn and says, we don't like the stairs, we want it to be, this, or something like that. So material changes to to our purview, to things that we would react on, it would probably need to come back. Or I guess council could refer it back at that point and say, contingent on planning board's approval of these revisions, we'll conditionally approve it and or deny it for these reasons.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I just asked because, there are still some questions, some open-ended questions.
Yes, sir,
about this,
absolutely.
and that's why I just want to make sure that there is a structure or an avenue so that, this board, if necessary, would be able to also weigh in.
Weigh in again. 100% point. Great point.
I would just add that that is pretty well documented in the recommended conditions of approval, and that would be the process, right? If we move outside of something that's described in a certain way, then our only course is to come back to this board.
In addition, one of the things I've structured in the recommended conditions of approval is that all three of these projects have to be done concurrently. You can't have one without the other. They all have to be in concert with each other because of the way they interrelate.
David?
Real quick, there is no possibility that the routing of the utilities goes back under the building? Are we eliminating that tonight for the most?
No, not really, no. It's still a possibility if
It's
they
a
don't.
possibility based on whatever direction things go with the partnership discussions with the city council. If the city council, a lot of this is going to come down to cost and how we structure the agreement, what type of method are we using? Are we using 79E, which I know is part of what Mark is talking about? Are we doing an expansion of our TIF district to pay for infrastructure? So there's a variety of things that just aren't known yet in terms of the parameters of that discussion. So right now, because engineering division preference is to do the routing outside of where the building would be, that's the process we're going to proceed with to the council at this point, and then the council is going to set the direction from there.
Okay.
This is what I referred to as the chicken and egg problem.
100%.
where something had to go first, and so it may very well turn out. What we have now is basically a series of conditions that recognizes that there are competing alternatives for this utility routing. Whereas we had wanted to do the direct shot, the engineering group, the staff engineering department prefers the around the bend concept. So it's flipped for the purposes of the approval, and the around the bend concept is to be followed unless and until it's proven infeasible. And so we'll accept that. We have more work to do. We'll figure out whether or not we can get there with the help of the council and other stakeholders in the project. And if we can't, we have the fallback. And if we have to come to some sort of a compromise or door number 3, we'll come right back here.
Thank you.
Council Todd?
Yeah, thanks. I just had one small point I wanted to bring out in item 8D on page 14 of 21 of the staff report. There's a section 6.2F, and it states that the E&P Hotel, quote, had been determined as a contributing structure to a potential downtown historic district. And I usually never find errors in staff reports, but that's one of them. It is actually in an existing downtown Concord National Register Historic District, and the E&P Hotel is a contributing building to that district. So I don't know how the word potential got in there, but just a note of that, if there's some folks out there that might be actually reading these documents and might be confused by it, you never know.
Missed it.
Just to clarify that, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your eagle eye. Okay, any other questions from the board? If not, we'll close the public hearing. From a staff perspective, do you want to just hit
Let's
them?
start with 8C.
It's 8C, so we'll go right to 8C. And in your packet, it's 6 of 8 on your packet. Item 9, again, using our adopt as our findings of fact the information we heard here tonight, the information that's been provided in the staff report and the applicant's submission materials. We'll use those as our findings of fact to bring these to bear. 9.2 is recommend that the City Council vote to discontinue public highway of Phoenix Avenue between Low Ave and North Main Street, and also convey the 2 city-owned strips of land within the public highway of Phoenix Ave to Siborowski Associates LLC, and those are outlined in those map lots that are listed in your packet. The board also recommends that the discontinuation be subject to the condition that the accompanying major site plan project and development, and those are PL/SPR 2025-049 and 050, achieves substantial completion 3 years from the date of final approval of the planning board, or the discontinuance is rescinded. Would someone like to make a motion to recommend City Council vote to discontinue this public highway with those conditions?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.3 is to grant the waiver requests below for listed sections of the subdivision regulations, and those are outlined in waiver requests A through E. I'm not going to read those in. They're wetlands, wetland delineations, not to provide wetland delineation, topography, and topography. Would someone like to make a motion to grant the waiver requests as outlined?
So moved. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.4 is to grant minor subdivision approval for the lot line adjustment between tax map lot 644-3Z28, addressed as 34 to 42 North Main Street, and tax map lot 643Z27, addressed as 56 North Main Street, and the discontinuance of Phoenix Ave subject to the following precedent and subsequent conditions, and those are outlined in precedent conditions 1A through H, and 2 through 9, and subsequent condition B and B1. Would someone like to make a motion to grant minor subdivision approval? We got a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. That brings us to 8D in the staff report. It's going to be way in the back. This is going to say it's.
This is a long memo.
This is the long one. Page 17 of your record. Recommendations, again, using the finding of fact of the materials that we saw here tonight, the staff report and the application's submission materials. We'll use those as findings of fact to approve this or deny this. And under 9.2 is to grant the waiver request below from the listed sections of site plan regulations based on evidence provided showing that the criteria RSA 674-44-3E and section 3608 of the site plan regulations are met, and that's outlined in section 1602-15, 1602-20, 21.02 sidewalks and sidewalks required, 2904 building and facade lighting, 2905 canopy lighting, 2907 nuisance and glare. Would someone like to make a motion to grant those waiver requests as outlined?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.3 is to deny the waiver request below as listed, and I'm not going to read those in. Those are A through, you guys start reading them, man. I got to read them all. If I'm not going to read them, I don't need to read them. So A through D, would someone like to make a motion to deny those waiver requests as outlined? I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.4, excuse me, is to grant architectural design review approval for the proposed redevelopment of 56 North Main Street with the following conditions. The EMP Hotel building, the upper floor windows and masonry patterns shall be adjusted to diminish the scale of the building. The windows are all recessed on the exterior with expressed muttons. The trim details that look red are stone on the building. The mechanical unit screen over the linking connector building shall not be translucent, glow, or call attention in any way. Sorry. The bay bump out shall not be ephes or stucco, but another material Prior to issuance of building of construction, the applicant shall return to the Architectural Design Review Committee with physical samples of all materials for the building, including colors and patterns, and a lighting plan that shall be in compliance with the Architectural Design Review guidelines, the Main Street Design Guide, and prior to final approval, the accompanying major site plan application shall receive final approval, and the Architectural Design Review approval shall share the same final approval date for the purpose of establishing the date of decision by the planning board. My goodness. Would someone like to make a motion to grant architectural design review as so eloquently outlined by the chair? Tina's gonna make that motion.
Story time at planning.
Yeah. Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Question.
Oh, whoops, go ahead.
Do you have a rendering of a head-on view of the,
We do,
instead of being at the side?
don't we?
We have the elevation, it's not rendering, it's just a colored elevation.
That's what, I think that's what we're looking for.
That
There
one.
you go.
Yep, there you go.
Of the Main Street side?
Main Street
That's the
side.
Main Street side there.
Thank you.
Okay, so we had a motion, a second, and we had approvals. Any denials? Okay, that motion is approved. Where did I leave off?
We're at the first conditional use.
9.5
9.5, yep.
is to grant conditional use of permit approval for section 28-41G6 for the properties located at 45 to 52 North Main Street and 54 through 56 North Main Street, along with the connection to and renovation of 34 to 42 North Main Street to allow the building located in the CBP to exceed the maximum height restrictions and instead have a maximum height of 89 feet 6 inches, with the conditions that prior to the final approval, the accompanying major site plan applications shall receive final approval, and the conditional use permit approval shall share the same final approval date for the purpose of establishing the date of decision by the planning board. Would someone like to make a motion to grant conditional use permit as outlined?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.6 is to grant conditional use permit for the approval of, conditional use permit for approval from section 2841G2 for the properties located at 44 to 52 North Main Street and 54 to 56 North Main Street along the connection to and renovation of 34 to 42 North Main Street to allow for the building located in the CBP or OPC to obstruct the views of the State House Dome from specific locations along Interstate 93 and 393, with the conditions that prior to the final approval, the accompanying major site plan application shall receive final approval, and the conditional use permit shall share the same final approval date for the purpose of the establishing the date of decision by the planning board. Would someone like to make a motion to grant that conditional use permit as outlined?
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.7 is to grant major site plan approval for the construction of a new 8-story mixed-use building and associated on and off-site improvements at tax map 6443Z, lot 27, addressed as 56 North Main Street, as submitted and subject to the following precedent and subsequent conditions, and those are outlined in precedent conditions 1,
A through J,
A through J,
and then 2 through 6,
2 through 6,
and then B 1 through 11.
and then subsequent conditions B 1 through 11. Would someone like to make a motion to grant major site plan approval as outlined?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. So that brings us to item 8E. Okay, in page 9 in your packet, under, again, using our findings of fact, adopting a findings of fact, which is the information that we heard here tonight, the staff reports, the applicant's submission materials, will base our decisions on those findings of fact. Under 9.2 is to grant the waiver request below from the listed conditions of the site plan regulations based on evidence provided and showing the criteria of RSA 674-44-3E and section 3608 of the site plan regulations are met, and those are outlined in waiver requests A through F. Would someone like to make a motion to grant those waiver requests as outlined?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.3 is to deny the waiver request outlined in the packet. Again, 9.3, not going to read it, same site plan regulation evidence. Under A through D, would someone like to make a motion to deny those waiver requests A through D?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. 9.4 is to grant architectural design review approval for the proposed redevelopment of 56 North Main Street. Yes.
That was a typo in my staff report. If we could, this architectural design review for 34 to 42 North Main Street.
Okay. So
That's already been done.
that's already been done. Okay, so we'll move on to 9.5.
Yes.
No 9.4. So 9.5 is to grant major site plan approval for the.
We still need the grant aid. Well, I still want to grant ADR. I just had the wrong address.
Okay, so 9.4 is grant architectural design review approval for the proposed redevelopment at
34 to 42.
34 to 42 North Main Street with the following conditions. Are those right?
The condition is basically the same. Yeah. If you want to
So
save
we'll
yourself some breath.
save myself some breath, thank you. So 9.4 is to grant architectural design review for the, for approval. Would someone like to make a motion to grant architectural design review approval for that, that's piece of the property?
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. 9.5 is to grant major site plan approval for the construction of a 6-story infill of Phoenix Avenue, Lot 28, along with a new building connection to Phoenix Block, Lot 27, and associated on and off site improvements at tax map 644-3Z28, addressed as 34 to 42 North Main Street, as submitted and subject to the following precedent and subsequent conditions. And those are outlined in precedent conditions 1,
A through J,
A through J,
and then 2 through 6,
2 through
and then
6,
subsequent 1 through 11.
and B is subsequent conditions 1 through 11. Would someone like to make a motion to grant my major site plan approval as outlined?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. So congratulations, Mr. Siborowski. Looks like you're one
Step
step
one.
closer.
One step closer.
One step closer is all that matters, as long as you're making forward progress. So we look forward to seeing this move forward in the process.
Sounds good. We'll be
Okay,
back if
guys,
we need
thank
to.
you.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully we don't see you for a bit.
You never know.
Everything just sails right through.
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Okay.
Question?
Yes, sir.
You. If a partnership is created after the fact, what sort of entanglements or how does that impact us?
It really shouldn't impact the planning board's decision much unless there's a change that needs to take place. The typical parameters of the partnership are a development agreement that says who's responsible for paying for what methodology are we using? Are we using TIF funds? Are we doing payment in lieu of tax? It's a variety of different tools that are on the council's disposal, but they aren't necessarily related to the actual land use approvals that the board grants unless there's a change necessitated in terms of how the council wants to move forward with the
Well,
utilities.
if internal financial responsibility changes, do they have to come back to us?
No, just like it's a private building, just like it was a developer doing it, it doesn't matter how it's being paid for.
For
We
an
don't care who pays for it.
Right.
For example,
I mean, we do, as taxpayers, we do, but
giving a couple of recent examples of projects that had public-private partnerships. The Caleb Group had the Pennacook Landing Apartments out on Canal Street in Pennacook.
Yeah.
We dealt with them in terms of revolving loan fund, CDBG, other things like that. We had the 32 South Main Street, the Isabella Apartments, where it was our property. We sold it at a discount to the developer so that they could go forward and build the apartment. So there's a variety of different tools that the council can use, and those are the things that need to be determined.
Okay, so my question is internally, if they do something internally that changes
Then it's
scope
between the city
of
council
the
and.
money.
Yeah.
right,
The city council.
Doesn't make
it doesn't make any difference to us.
For-
It doesn't trigger anything to us. Again, if they change the facade, then it would trigger something to come back.
Yep.
Yep. Good?
Good.
Okay. All right, let's move on. Public hearings, we got none?
Hey,
Design review applications?
We're
Amendments?
lonely now.
Other
Other items.
We're moving to other items, 12 in the agenda.
So this is, you have in your packets a report from Chelsea Mikulski, the city treasurer and tax collector. The city is looking to move forward with an auction or tax deeding of a property located at 45 Auburn Street. This property has actually been deeded once before in the past. The property owner repurchased it and has fallen behind on taxes again. The recommendation and the requirement from state law and the city charter is the planning board needs to provide a recommendation as to whether or not you believe there is a public purpose for retaining this particular property, or if you wish to see the city proceed through the deeding process.
Okay, so as you heard, again, we've seen these in the past, few and far between, but we've seen them in the past. So again, our piece of this is to recommend that accept the following report and advise the city council that the planning board would like to retain.
The recommendation right now from the city is to sell the property by auction.
Yeah. So if the planning board would like to retain any of the tax deeded properties listed herein or sell the properties, again, so if anybody has any thoughts or processes, if you want to keep them or not, yes, Eden.
I'm very familiar with the property. I drive by it a couple times a day going to and from work. I can't imagine it would have any real beneficial government purpose.
Right.
It is in the middle of a residential neighborhood
Right.
by a mile, so I'm sorry this has to happen, but I think it should be sold versus kept by the city.
And just to let the folks know, if the city does move forward and sell this at auction, the proceeds from the sale will first be applied to the back taxes, and then anything in excess of that will go to the former owner of the property.
Yeah. Okay, so we need a recommendation from us. Anybody have?
Recommendation to proceed with the sale of the property.
Okay, so any opposition to recommending that? If not, I'll make a recommendation that we recommend to city council that they should go through all the proper channels to sell the property at 45 Auburn Street. Any motions or seconds on that? I made the motion.
I seconded them.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion, or that recommendation carries.
Thank you. The last thing I have for you tonight under other items is Beth Fenstermacher, our Director of Special Projects and Strategic Initiatives, is in the process of applying for a federal build grant for the next phase of the Merrimack River Greenway Trail, and is asking for the planning board's endorsement of said application through a support letter that would be signed by the chair.
Okay, so I've got the letter here. I just want to get some feedback. It's addressed to Secretary Sean Duffy, United States Department of Transportation in Washington, regarding, quote, better utilizing investments to leverage development BUILD grant application for the Merrimack River Greenway Trail in Concord, New Hampshire. Dear Secretary Duffy, on behalf of the Concord City Planning Board, I write to express the board's support for the Merrimack River Greenway Trail and the City of Concord's build application to facilitate the extension of a 12.7-mile multi-use transportation trail through Concord. The Merrimack River Greenway Trail has been identified as an important piece of the city's non-motorized transportation network, first supported in 1990 in a report by the Concord Conservation Trust titled Merrimack River Greenway Trail System. The trail has been touted again and again in official city planning documents, including the Concord Bicycle Master Plan of 2010, the City of Concord Pedestrian Master Plan of 2017, and was first programmed in the city's capital improvements plan in 2016. The 2030 Master Plan in 2008, in its economic development policies and recommendations section, recognized the importance of expanding opportunities for alternative transportation modes to ensure accessibility to jobs, goods, services, and amenities while improving safety by separate bicycle and vehicular infrastructure. While this trail is vitally important transportation and recreational resource in the city, it plays a crucial role in regional connectivity. The segments of trail detailed in this build funding application will connect Concord's downtown to an existing 64-mile trail that extends northerly into Lebanon, New Hampshire, and will connect southerly to a proposed trail route that will extend to Massachusetts in the future. Sincerely, and it would be signed by me and as the chair, but I do want to get some feedback. If anybody has any concerns, I don't want to represent the board without at least telling you what we're going to say. Eaton.
Why is this letter being requested?
It's typical supporting documentation for grant applications of the federal government that we have letters of support from local boards and commissions. This is just part of the typical process that we utilize in our grant applications.
Any other concerns? Councilor Todd?
Not concerned, I know that the Pennacook Village Association was requested to
Right.
supply a letter, and they did as well. So
Conservation
it's,
Commission just
Right,
last
there's a
week.
lot of, whatever the local groups that have,
Yeah.
be able to express community opinion or talk about the impact of the
Yeah.
trail when completed, that kind of
I think we've done it before. I want to say, I don't know if we've done it for the
Probably,
trail,
right?
but
Yeah.
we've done it for something else.
Yeah.
Or I have anyways.
Yeah, I think it's a good letter.
Okay, any other concerns or questions? If not, I'll sign it. All right.
Sign and eat.
Okay, yeah, Eaton Turbo.
That's all I had for you tonight.
All right, nothing else to come before the board? Any other information that needs to come before the board? If not, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
That would be me.
That would be David's making that motion to adjourn. We have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.